Hello, ladies. We are live. If you would tag a few people, we'll get started in just a few minutes. But for right now, go ahead and tag some people. Tonight, we're talking about I Am Every Woman, celebrating womanhood. Tag a few friends. Tag a few friends, please. There she is. Hello, hello.
Hello.
How are you this evening?
Sleepy, stopped up, working with kids. You
Oh,
know how I go.
sleep, just sleepy and stopped up. Lord, we are live. Um, I was going on to make sure I can see us on the other side. Let's see. There we are. Okay. I have to look at this one just to make sure that if any comments come up because I can't see them. So uh-oh. And I didn't mean to do that either. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, girl, I don't know what I'm doing here, man. Messing up stuff. That's what I'm doing. All right. All right. Well, good evening. Good evening. It's
Hey,
good to see you. You're looking
it's good to see you.
good. Looking cute as always. Looking cute as always. We've got some people jumping on. You guys, good evening. Good evening. We're gonna get started here in just a few minutes. You guys tag a friend. Come on in. I know that our guest tonight, Miss Cut Up Diva, is gonna tell us some good stuff and some golden nuggets that we can take with us. With celebrating womanhood, I am every woman. Um, we're gonna start off tonight. This is our um second month. We're coming off a high from our women's conference last weekend. I want to thank everyone who was able to participate, whether it was through actual physical participation, through prayers, through donations, through time and effort, whatever you did to make the conference successful. I greatly appreciate you. But now we are moving on because we are an organization on the move. And tonight I have Miss Karissa Marshall here tonight. We are so excited. You all give her a hand out in Facebook land and YouTube land. We are glad to have her this evening. I'm gonna allow her to introduce her own self because what I've asked her to do is come. I have watched um, Karissa over a few years. And there's no other person I could have selected to be more classy, to be more. That cut up diva is a perfect name for her. But she also has brains behind that beauty. She is currently a school counselor, and I believe she's doing some other things. That's why I'm not going to introduce her. I'm going to let her introduce herself. But Jules, I want you to welcome, and she's also a part of the page anyway. But I want you to welcome her here live this evening, and go tag a friend to come on in, so they can either hear it now or hear it later. But without further ado, I have some announcements at the end. But for right now, I know you come to hear Miss Marshall helping us to celebrate womanhood with "I Am Every Woman." Miss Marshall, can you tell us
Good
and the
evening,
You Are
everybody.
Jewel crew a little bit about yourself?
I am Karissa Marshall. I'm 37. I'm from Rosedale. So for the other people that don't know about the little city of Rosedale and Beulah, it's between Cleveland and Greenville. I don't have any children. I've been here all my life. I am a graduate of West Bolivar High School in Rosedale in class of 2005. I graduated Delta State in 2007 with my bachelor's degree in psychology and a minor in special education. I had my master's degree. Yes, my master's degree. No, and I graduated 2009, I bet. 2009 I graduated and I got my master's degree in school counseling, and it's where I could do both, and it's working in the school and in the mental health capacity as well. And I got my specialist degree in 2014 in school counseling, and I received another um, specialist degree in administration and supervision in 2020. And in 2022, I got my last specialist from Ole Miss in play therapy. So I like to go to school, but I want to be knowledgeable so I can help others. Um, like I said, my first job I began as a school-based therapist for Region 1, and I think it's Region 6, whichever one for Cleveland,
Okay.
Cleveland Greenville area, and we end up merging into Life Help. I chose that first, and I didn't want to do that first, but I'm always a proactive person. So I wanted to make sure that if I couldn't get to this one, I can do something else. So I'm not as smart as I am. I dread testing, so I'm not a good test taker. So I did not pass my practice test. Practice one, practice two, I passed it, but I had to take practice one, I know about 5 times because I just couldn't get it. I was so scared every time that I came. So one
Mm,
time I went in and I said, you know what? I don't care. I'm finna go and take this test. And there was a time that I did pass. So in the meantime of me going back and taking the test, I started working as a school-based therapist, and I was so glad for the experience. And one thing I've learned is at a young age is that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. I could not
mm,
see it then, but I'm so glad and I'm so thankful because working in mental health prepared me to work within the school system and to know the difference between the two. So I worked there for 2 years and it was a great experience. I worked in Shelby in that community, and I was a floater. So it helped me because of being a floater, you go to all the different sites if somebody's not there. So I got a chance to see different people and how they work. And then, of course, it was mile to shoot, so it was some extra money for me. So
yeah.
I worked there and I enjoyed that. And one of my biggest parts, and I know that sometimes we feel like rejection is bad, but I learned that it's good. I worked at
Mm,
Bell Academy too in Cleveland, and the principal, she wanted to be all friendly and stuff, but you have to watch people that
mm,
pretend, because people pretend very well. So
yes,
she
they
would
do.
ask me and she text me and say the job is open for a school counselor and I'm going to get you there. And she did not choose me. And
Mm,
that broke my heart. It broke my heart. And I ended up going back to Greenville when I left mental health. And I was glad because I wanted to go there first because I did my internship in Greenville High School. And then I went to Shaw High. So I ended up going back to where I wanted to be, which was in Greenville, but it was in God's timing for me to go back to Greenville. So I was glad about that. So that's where it leaves me, and I've been in Greenville since 2014. and I'm still there.
Amen.
So I have worked at one school for 8 years, and last year was my first time having to go to another school. So that has helped me to transition better. And I know as a counselor, we supposed to know how to transition and deal with change, but I'm not a one that does well. But it helped me to do that, and I've learned that every experience I have is to help somebody else. It might
Ab-
not be for the people that you want to, but it's for somebody that your experience can um help along the way. So that's me. I have a business on the side. I am cut up diva because I do cut up. So I do loaded baked potatoes. And I'm talking about real loaded, real heavy. You can eat on them for days. And I do strawberries, and I do gift baskets. And I also this last year I began to work with the youth at the detention center in Washington County, and that has been such a blessing too. So I enjoy doing it. I go there after school. So that's why I was saying that I was tired, because I go from that job to that job and then back at home. And sometimes I try to go out to different houses. I know I don't have to, but I want them to know that they have their support. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things you touched on, which is another reason why I asked you to come on, we're talking about celebrating womanhood and I am every woman. And the reason it's entitled that is because you have so many facets about yourself. But one of the things I want to kind of get you to talk about a little bit, because you are a jewel, of course, is an organization founded on the premise of women reaching a level of self-actualization. So when if you having that mental health background and not only working with have you ever worked with adults as far as mental health is concerned, or has it always been
Yeah,
children?
I
So
always
so
choose.
so when you talk to I mean parents, mothers of children, or just children in general, when you think about that self actualization piece, what does that come to, as far as a woman is concerned, what comes to mind for you, for Karissa? What is Karissa self actualized?
To be whole, to be whole. And that's, I'm glad that you said that, because that's the model that I go by, like in life, where I'm dealing with myself or even the children. Because what I notice, and I just wonder, and I guess it's the inquisitive part of being a counselor, like what happened, it seems like something haven't been met here. And I
Mm-hmm.
could tell even with my colleagues. I was just saying this a few minutes ago. I was like, I wonder what her childhood was like, because you ain't passed the safety and security part yet, and that's the
Yeah,
first level. So as it
absolutely.
relates to me, it's about being whole. And I tell my children this, I tell anybody that I encounter with, is that you want to be whole so you can go to the top to self-actualize. We might be broken, we might come to pieces, but pieces
Hmm.
still becomes a masterpiece. Broken
Yes,
pieces still become
absolutely.
a masterpiece. So I feel like we have to do that, and sometimes we got to be willing to work. I think that's a lot of our problem, is that we don't want to work. It becomes too hard. It becomes too tedious. We don't see the results so quickly, but it takes time to break bad habits. It takes time to see them, look at the man in the mirror, that it might be me. So when
Absolutely.
I think about self actualization, it's about being whole. I
Yeah.
promote wholeness, because I feel like we all have something, some type of trauma that we have lived through, but we're still here. So we're still granted that time that we can just go through it and try to heal. I see a lot
Hmm.
of brokenness, even with our children. I have
Yeah.
5-year old. They're so broken, they're broken. So if we got a 5-year old, no, I know a 55-year-old woman is broken. Because I
Yeah.
can tell, like being in, I feel like in my job that I was in for 8 years, I think I was there more for the adults than the children,
Mm.
because they were, I was, it was just like, I got trauma, I got trauma. It's like the whole, all those ladies. And I have been around women of class, and they ain't have a lot, but they had class. You can't
Hmm.
pay for that.
And
You ain't
oh,
got to have a lot of money. You ain't got
Mm-mm.
to have a lot of money to have some class. But
That's
I
right.
have seen so much. And I always want to model myself with women that, that look good and want to do good, even if they didn't have $1,000 or $100 in their pocket. But
Mhm.
sometimes you got to look the part. And
That's
I
right.
think that that's what the problem is, and that's my issue that I have with women is that it's like, oh, she thinks she this. No, I just know that a part of being a lady is you got to dress the part. So I
Yes,
feel like at my
absolutely.
job that's what I had to encounter was being there for them because I just saw so many broken women. They hated each other because they hated themselves. And
Mm.
I remember my custodian told me, he said, I can tell you weren't not from here. He was a man, older man. He said, I know you're not from here. He said, because I could tell by your spirit. And I
My
feel like I wanted to run. The first week there, I wanted to go somewhere else because I had never seen nothing like that. I had been around sisterhood and mental health. We would go to lunch every day. We talked. It was no hating. It was no none of that. But when I got to Greenville, oh Lord
mm,
Jesus, it was something totally different. And it
my
took me a while to break the barriers in it. And God was strengthening me too. Because I'm normally his baby, I'm gonna get you told and that's it. But he shut my
mhm.
mouth.
Yes.
He shut my mouth, and I had to show them and exhibit as a young lady, and they're way older than me. I had to exhibit what Christ looks like first,
Oh, oh,
and
yes,
what a
indeed.
woman looks like. And didn't understand it then, but I understand now. And I'm glad that I had those experiences. So back to your original question, self-actualization on the Maslow hierarchy of needs is getting your needs met. And even if you don't, go back to that so you can be whole.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And you know what? And that, when you, as you were talking, I was thinking about just the birth of You Are Jewel. And as you know, You Are Jewel is built on seven wellnesses, with all of those for me equating to, or equaling up to, reaching that level of self-actualization. Your area of expertise, your visible area of expertise, is emotional and mental health. So what are your thoughts as it relates to women um dealing with emotional and mental issues? Where do you start? Like, because even for, and I we have women of all ethnicities as a part of You Are a Jewel, but I know, being an African American woman, it was at one point very hard for me to say I need help. My mind is not where it needs to be. My emotions, so many things, so much trauma and things have happened in my life, and what we do is we push it back, push it down, and push it back, and we keep suppressing those things, and then all of a sudden, you're this person that you don't know anymore. So as a person with a mental and emotional a background, as far as your career is concerned, or just being a woman in general, where would she start? Where would she start with dealing
First,
with
she got
that?
to start with. She has to start with her because one thing about it, you got to be sick and tired. And being
Mm,
sick and tired, and you're gonna find a way to do it. And one thing about it, God will show you stuff. You'll start seeing stuff on Facebook. You'll start hearing stuff on the radio. You'll start hearing stuff on it, just anywhere to know that hey, this is. Sometimes it be like, where do I go? Like, what,
mm,
where can I do it? I don't have no money for this, and it'll show up. That's the
mm.
first thing. First thing, you got to be tired of the situation. Because if
Yeah,
you're not tired, then you're not gonna think it's a problem.
absolutely.
I told people all the time about grief. I didn't want to be sad. So I did something different. But it's people that want to be sad. They want to be sad, but you
That's
gotta
the
want
truth.
change. They want to be sad. And you got to want something different. You got to want something different. And if you're not, then you got to explore. We find everything else on the internet, but we can't find somebody in our community. Don't even know that we have counselors in our community. And it's one of the things, and I think it's the fear that stops people from doing that because we're
Agree.
taught that we got to be strong. We're
Yes,
taught that we
that.
got to. that we're going to take it to the Lord in prayer. Yeah, He going to take it to the Lord in prayer, but He also gave us people that's on this earth that have the
Ooh,
capacity to look past that and incorporate counseling and therapy and prayer together. And I
absolutely.
think that if as a culture, that's what we do. We're gonna let God handle it. But He also say faith without work is dead. You got to do
Yes,
something too.
say it. Please say that for the people in the back.
For
Please
the
say that.
people in the back, faith without work is dead. So you gotta do something too. He have given us this. So one time I looked down and I just said counselors, and they don't even know. And then now it's even more, and you don't even have to pay. You don't have to pay.
And
And it's also about if they're gonna be in my business, and it's about confidentiality. Some of us do hold confidentiality. I think more than others. Then it doesn't matter what people think about it, but I think that most people do uphold confidentiality. And if
yes,
that's the case, then go to another city or county where they don't know you. But I think fear stopped you from even addressing whatever issue that you had. So okay, we'll just suppress it. We'll just go move on. I might go and drink over here. I might go smoke, or I might go with this man and all that. And that what makes the situation even worse.
absolutely. You know what? And they even have it now. Like I was talking to my cousin. She lives out of town, and she has a therapist that is online. Like you don't even have to leave your
Right.
house. Like
You don't
that
even
was,
have to leave your house. But you
yeah.
gotta want to, and we got to be accountable. Cause that's what I see. I just wish that I can sell it in a jar. Accountability. You gotta be
Hmm.
accountable for your part as well too. Whether it was
Absolutely.
that you stayed too long, or you
Yes.
stayed in that situation, you knew you had a way out, but you wanted to stay because you stayed with something that was familiar. So
Absolutely.
we have to be accountable. We have to be accountable and want that change. You got to want that change. And even when you make one step, God say He'll make the rest. If you
That's
just
right.
make one.
That's right. You know what? We stay in that. We stay in our mess so much. I just think about I was thinking about talking to a friend. Men are so different from women when it comes to um the mess, as you said. When it comes to I'm talking about the mess in our minds. We know they got all
Right.
kind of stuff that goes on everywhere, but the mess in our minds, they're able to somehow filter those things, but we keep all of that, and then we get that what the black woman syndrome, or the what they call us, oh shoot, what's somebody, and I just think they're derogatory terms, you know what I mean? Because when men
Mhm.
feel that way and do that, but as women we have to, I don't know, I just feel like sometimes, even when it comes down to our jobs and careers and rearing children and going to school and all of that, we have to suppress so much. And I guess I'm
Mhm.
just letting women know that you don't have to suppress things like that. We are having, do you know we're having more and more strokes and heart attacks and all these various ailments. And I believe it's truly because, I mean, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a doctor, but I believe a
Right.
lot of it is because of stress, anxiety,
Mhm.
suppression, because
Mhm.
we do sit in that job for
Mhm.
too long that we shouldn't be in. We
Mhm.
do stay in that
Mhm.
marriage too long because we have our old school male pastors
Mhm.
who say the
Mhm.
Bible says you shouldn't get divorced, but you getting bopped upside your
Right.
head. But you just staying in it
Right.
because you were told you
Right.
got to do this. You, as the woman, have to make this work. You got to do this.
Right.
You don't have to do that. So I just don't understand why women don't. And you know what? Yes, I do understand it, because that woman was me at one time, and I didn't get it all the time. But you are right.
Mhm.
You have to be whole, and you have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired.
That's
What are
right.
some of the other things that you feel? That's right. Somebody said the silent killer is stress, and they said stress is the
Yes.
devil's girlfriend. Say, look, I can't see your
I
name right
love
now.
it.
I'll see it later, but say it for the people in the back. That's my
I
new
love
term.
it.
But when you're thinking about other issues that affect women, ordinary women, what are some of those things that come to mind for you?
First, I just think it goes from childhood trauma that it's like the cycle of a generational curse is not being broken. And it
Mm,
starts like when you having children or making those decisions, working with I say I never wanted to work with the little kids, but I that's where I started and I love it. So I've gotten a chance in these last couple months to see working with that population of middle school because that's the one where I want to. But I say see there is that there is a imbalance from I want to be a kid to I'm growing up. So they're making a lot of decision and I see a lot of hurt children. So then we get to that point of now we're probably gonna be making babies or we and selling drugs and it's like a little kid innocence is gone because they
yeah.
couldn't maneuver through their developmental stage. So when I
Mm,
think about that, that's where we go to that part first. And I see them as like that, like I even had a child to say this life is not bad. He don't have no bills. He don't have nothing, but he said life has lifed him. And I said,
oh
Lord, he in the
Lord,
fourth grade and he said life has lifed him. So
my
I
God.
see that the generational curse because we got parents that's not being involved, and that's what some of them because they just don't know how. You know,
Mm,
repetition is the mother of all learning. So if you haven't seen it, you don't know what to do. So I see
absolutely.
that part right there is the generational curse because you're gonna do what other people do. Every time, every kid that I talk to, my dad's in jail or he's dead because he got shot. And you're going
Mm,
to that part, and it's all because they didn't have a connection. You can look at it. We go back to school, and you see when the child's in the middle school, going to high school, you see less parents at awards day. You see less parents at muffins for moms and donuts for dads because that's where they get lost at. And that's where I feel
mm.
like the issue starts. And that's
And that's what
especially
we
for women because then we want to be loved. So that's what everything to me, everything matriculates from the I want to be loved. So we don't
ab-
love ourselves, so we start doing this and we start doing that. And then we're looking for it, and then we just get into these bad situations where you got more bad over here than you have good. So that's why I feel like those things come from that, and it becomes a cycle. It comes a cycle, and that's why I try to make sure that I love on kids. Sometimes you don't even have to say nothing. You have to just love on them and just show them something different. And as it relates
absolutely.
to women, we have to watch our circle. We got to see who is feeding us. Who are we eating
Absolutely.
from? That's even
Absolutely.
if we're going to church. What are we doing? I said this a long time ago. Traditions aren't always right. They're
Oh,
not
say that.
always right. Some things that we taught, yeah, and that's for the people in the back. Tradition is, I tell my mama that all the time. She would always holler every morning, Black mamas, please stop doing that, messing people day up. Now you got everybody disgruntled because you holler.
That's right.
I wasn't that
Absolutely.
kid that could work. That would bother me. That would bother me so bad that you holler. It's too early. We still sleeping. You hollering. What's going on? So
Yes.
we're not doing what we need to do because we're unhappy. That's why. That's why they holler because they unhappy. But you
Mm,
got to
mm,
watch
mm.
your circle. You got to see who's feeding you. What are you eating from? And I guess my thing comes from a lot of mine. I feel like I can bounce back because I've been around a lot of older people that kind
Yeah.
of introduced me to different things. You know, like going out and we're going to sit down at the table and eat. We don't do that at Black households. We're not going to sit down and
Mm,
put the phones down and say, "How was your day today?" But I had
yeah.
somebody that wasn't from here that she put that in me. So then I
Mm-hmm.
know that this, oh, I like that. I like how that is because that's a way to show that you care. Not that you
Absolutely.
are everybody on the phone or this person in this room, this person in this room.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? I'm telling you, I told y'all she was gonna be hitting on some golden nuggets
And
tonight.
I didn't even want to come and talk because I don't even like to talk. But I guess when you had experience, then I guess you could do this because I'm like, okay, what it's Friday? What we gonna do? Come on, let's wrap this up. Let's do this.
And you know what, Carissa, the truth is, when I was trying to think, I know that your background is mental and emotional wellness, or mental, mental and emotional issues. But I just could not really think of a title that would just I felt like it would just box the conversation in. Because really and truly, what you're talking about, everything you're hitting on things that this is every woman. The lady that you're walking down, the lady that you see on TV, these things affect her. The one you see in the grocery store, the same things. I think about Taraji P. Henson, and she was talking about with the money situation in Hollywood. She's a human being. She cried like everybody else. If you hear her
Mhm.
story coming up, she's every woman. You're every woman. I'm every woman. And we have to begin to realize that we do have that in common. We don't all have to look the same. We don't have to act the same. We don't have to be the
Mhm.
same. But we all have something to contribute. We all have areas that we are well in, and we all have areas that we have to work on. So I want to ask you a question because like
Okay.
I said, this was gonna. I look. I know you got no kids and you young. You try to get out, get out there and enjoy your weekend. I know, but listen, there's 7 wellnesses. So there's spiritual wellness, there's relational wellness, physical wellness, emotional and mental wellness, financial wellness, intellectual wellness. So, of those 7 wellnesses, which of those, and I know which one you're probably going to say, but which ones do you think you are the strongest in? And which area do you feel like, well, I'm still working on that? God's still working with
Name
me on
them
it.
again. Name them
So,
again.
spiritual wellness,
Uh-huh.
relational wellness, physical
Uh-huh.
wellness, mental and
Uh-huh.
emotional wellness,
Uh-huh.
intellectual wellness, and financial wellness.
I say mental is my strong
I would say
because
that.
I just want to. I'm just like I said. I just believe in wholeness, and even if I have to, I'm always going to analyze my situation. And if this is making me angry, I got to let it go. So I've learned to do that over the years. Is to do that and analyze the situation, see what is. I don't like getting angry because I already know I'm going to go laugh and I'm going to stay too long. So I try
Mhm.
not to be around situations that involve that. When I come home, I don't have no TV on, and I know people don't like to sit in silence. But when you win in a day of hearing everybody else, you want some
Mhm.
peace. And I know that sometimes people don't have that peace, so that's why that's very big for me.
Mhm.
My next one would probably be spiritual. I have to read more. That's something that I got to work on. But I've had a situation this year to happen at my job that has required me to push me to read more and to pray and not use God as just an emergency contact.
My
I
God.
have had that where I had to just literally, I don't care if it's one scripture, I got to let it resonate in my heart and go by my day. I'm
Absolutely.
getting better with financial because that's one thing I see that a lot of people that make people angry because they be broke. That's why they
Mhm.
hating. That's why they
Yep.
jealous. That's why they bitter because they
Yep.
broke. They ain't got no money.
Yep.
That's why a lot of my kids, when I listen to their stories at the detention center, that is, I need quick money because I want to help my mama. And see, and TV has messed children up where they feel like I gotta have these shoes, every shoe that come out, but
Yeah.
they cost money. That's $100 or more, and this mama is working minimum wage trying to take care of 5 kids, and she can't do it. So you mad? The kid is mad because this person might have it and you don't. So then they get into those temptation of let's get that fast money. So I
Mm.
even with my little children, I preach about clean money. We're gonna get
Yeah.
clean money. You can do
Clean
this, you can
cut.
do that, and you're gonna get clean money, and they already know that. I'm gonna talk about them in first grade. Clean money. That's what we're
Mm.
gonna do. So one thing about I've learned too is that and some things that we gotta learn to do is just be obedient. Sometimes we
Yeah.
be in a situation of disobedience. And that's why we haven't got the what God really has for us. We have
Absolutely.
not received everything on the table for us because we're disobedient. We might be disobedient with the job that we're in or with the
Mm.
man or whoever that we're with because sometimes we got to, I have seen an overflow in my life of just making a few changes.
My God.
And some, like I said, it's the obedience. And sometimes we got to learn. That's one thing that we to do to make us better. Learn to do it the right way. We
Yeah.
learned about he done got up on the cross and died and stayed there and got up and all that, but we got to know about repentance. We got to know that, tell God that we're sorry and try to
Mm-hmm.
do something better. And then see what God will have for me. I have seen, literally, I have seen an overflow. And then you got to get connected with people that got more than you so they can connect you with some different things.
Absolutely.
Everybody, my crew ain't all that work at the school and all that. I got some here, there, and some way up there. But they gonna teach you somebody that want to teach you to be better. You can't
Yeah.
be around the same people that want you to be down here all the time. You got to
Mm.
grow. So my next one would be which one did I lack more? Um I just think maybe I'm doing better in spiritual, but I think that's where I kind of lack. But I made it a conscientious decision to do better, and
You
then I
doing
had
something
situations
about it. What
change
you
and better.
said? You
Yeah,
got to be sick
I had to
and
do
tired of being
something
sick and
about it.
tired.
Being sick tired, cause I was like, I know what you was talking about the anxiety. I was feeling anxiety, and I know I don't want to feel that. I can't, and I don't want nothing to mess with my sleep. And it was getting to that point. I said, God, you're gonna have to do something. We gotta be consistent. Like we can get on Facebook and be consistent. We gotta be consistent with Him too.
Girl,
And
say
then
that.
we'll see God bless. We'll see Him bless. Like
That's
really,
exactly
really.
right. Well, listen, I am so glad that you spent a little time with me today, this evening. I thank you so much. You have just hit so many things in this time we've had together. And we just wanted to celebrate womanhood tonight. We just want to let women know that it's okay to be a woman. It's okay to have emotions. It's okay, to feel a certain way, but it's when you
And it's
stay in
okay
the.
not to be there. Okay, but don't stay there. It's
That's right.
okay not to be okay, but don't stay there.
Don't
Get the
stay
help
there.
that you need. Sometimes talking can be a healing for you. You got to let go.
Absolutely.
I bet you some people out there that got some stuff on their chest since they were 9 years old and it's still there. You got to release. We got to release
Absolutely.
so God can move and be in the midst and have an overflow in our life, not just money. But we got to release some of those hurts and those pains and forgive ourselves.
That's right. That's right. Get past. You have to forgive yourself, because you know what? A lot of us, and I just think about even some of our elders that have gone on. They took things to the grave with them because they felt like they couldn't tell anybody. You know what I
Right.
mean? Broken hearts, gone to the grave
Hmm.
because it was taboo for you to say, even if you know it's
Right.
wrong. You know what I mean? It was just
Right.
taboo, and we have to get past that because that's not healthy. It's not healthy at
Hmm.
all. So, well, I thank you so much. I thank you all who are out there in Facebook land on our platform. This is streaming also to our YouTube page. You guys, just as we are getting our numbers up on our Facebook page, we are going to. I actually have someone that's doing some branding for me, Karissa. So
All right.
we're going to be more of a presence on I believe she told me Instagram. And then we have a
Okay.
YouTube page, but of course I want, this is what I want everybody to do. Anybody that's out there or that's on the page or that sees us now or that will see it later, go over to the YouTube page and subscribe so we can get our numbers, because I really want, these are so good to me. What you talked about tonight, every woman needs to hear this. It doesn't matter how young or how old they are. These are things that affect every woman. As it says, I am every woman. So I thank you for being here with me tonight. You want to have any last things to say before we sign off tonight?
Nothing but get the help and be whole. Just be whole. Focus on wholeness. Want to have that desire to be whole because you'll feel better. I don't have care in the world because I'm going to be good because I want to be whole. I don't want to let the troubles of the world make me be a person that I don't know.
Absolutely. The trouble of the world. My goodness. Well, thank you, Miss Marshall. And I
All
hope to have you back
right.
on again.
All right.
Bye bye. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight on our You Are Jill platform. I'm going to begin this year ending each session with our vision and mission so that you can spread the word, spread the good news. Our vision of You Are a Jewel is all women, not some, all women shall reach a level of self actualization. And the mission of You Are a Jewel is to offer opportunities for women of all ages to participate in experiences that will enhance efforts to reach a level of self actualization through wellness education and to ensure that resources are available to all women and children in need of resources. I thank you. I do have two quick announcements. Whether you have children, grandchildren, or you know somebody, I have been, not I, let me back up. The organization has been sponsoring, along with the Agnes James family, have been sponsoring a $500 academic slash community service scholarship for the past 2 years. That particular scholarship is offered to students who are in the Jackson County and the Harrison County area. Well, as you all know, I actually live in Washington County, in the Mississippi Delta, and have worked in Bolivar County. So there are so many opportunities that our children miss, and everyone is not going to a 4 year institution, and they don't want to go there. So, what I would like to do, but there's not many opportunities for them. So, what we are adding this year, a new scholarship for students only in Washington County or Bolivar County. Any student, a senior who has at least a C average, whose desire is to attend some form of workforce development, whether it be a 2 year program at one of our um, the local junior colleges, whether it's at the CAP Center, there in Indianola, whatever the case may be, the scholarship will be for $500. In the future, we hope to increase that. But that $500 scholarship will be for those students who are in either someone from the Washington or Bolivar County will be the recipient of that $500 workforce development memorial scholarship. I do have someone that I am doing that in memory of. And so just get the word out. I'm going to get those applications to the high schools in Washington and Bolivar County. But just know, if you have any children in high school and any of those high schools that are in those counties, or if you have church members, just let them know that those applications will be available. Now, it's not for students who are attending a 4 year institution. This is different. It's for those who are wanting to go into a workforce development program, and there will be $500 available to them upon receipt that they have enrolled in a program. So when those applications come out, if you know of anybody, just make sure that you're getting those too. And if you're listening from the Jackson or Harrison County area, the Agnes James Memorial Scholarship applications will be out at the end of March. I'm going to send both at the same time, but one's going to one end of Mississippi and one's going to stay on this end. So I want to thank you all. Also, well, other thing that we're working on is our organization. Of course, we just finished our women's conference, and so those funds that were collected there, we are looking to help women and children who may have found themselves homeless. Now, we don't have a whole lot of resources, but what we do have, we're trying to design applications so there are criteria for those women. So that is, be looking for that. I'm probably going to post it on the page somewhere. And so you'll be able to, those of you who know someone who may be in a situation, but we're looking for women who find themselves in a housing issue or a domestic issue where they need to kind of get out and need something to help them move somewhere else, or a hotel, things like that. Someone may have lost a job. And so there'll be several things that we're going to be looking at as criteria for receiving funds from the You Are a Jewel organization on the side of women. So just be looking for that. We have big things to come, you guys. And again, those of you who supported the conference this year, thank you. And I'm already lining up people for 2025. So be looking for that. And I'm hoping to see even more out at the conference in 2025. Thank you so much for being on, listening to my girl tonight. press replay or tell somebody else to press replay. I thank you. I see my Sigma sisters out there. Thank you guys for jumping on this evening as well. Have a wonderful Friday evening and enjoy because you are a jewel. Thank you. Good night.